Hello everyone and welcome to this video where we have the newest update now in Stormworks, the major update for modding. And it's already brought us some really interesting things, including, as you can see here, even new mods with advanced or fixed or new water dynamics. So we're going to take a look at the notes from the update and some of the mods already released, as well as some things that may be coming. Here we are in the update notes, version 1.15, the Components Physics Gameplay Modding Update. Now I'm going to read through it as I do and add kind of my opinion and things that I find. I know you guys can read. So it says it's out now. We've added new types of modding to Stormworks. Modding allows new components to be modded into the game that actually do stuff. So now we can actually do things that make sound, animate, apply forces, etc. And this is the biggest part, these components are workshop compatible. So that will bring a whole new meaning to the modding and creations that you make. So physics and gameplay modding is now possible via new values text file where you could override numbers in the game, buoyancy, physics, aerodynamics, whatever, so you can change the way the game behaves, as you saw with my little boat example. And this new modding creates huge opportunities for players, their ideas, and they expect a lot of new stuff, of course. That is to be expected with something like this. In fact, we already had a lot of mods, but this brings it to the next level because now you could actually share it in your creations. And it says that they will add new Lua API for components, new values, and expose in-game engine values text files, so you can actually edit those text files for the new mods. Documentation is linked below, and down here we have the patch notes with all kinds of stuff. It is a little more complex than normal because you actually have to kind of be in that mindset of modding and whatnot, but in essence, modifiable game constants. There's Lua components with the Lua script, component modding as we talked about, and the component mod compiler. I did go to the component modding page, and it's very detailed and something that modders can hopefully understand in their use and creation of mods. But what does that mean for normal players like you and me? Well, for that I asked ChatGPT to just give me a summary. It says it introduces component mods, powerful way to add custom parts to your vehicles, custom meshes, sounds, and Lua scripts. And these mods are self-contained, meaning when you share your vehicles, it includes the mod, no external downloads are needed, and they work in multiplayer and on the workshop. So that's kind of cool, and that is coming from that massive document that I showed you on GeoMeta's website. Now, it says here you can make unique components, all that good stuff, and you get access to matrix, transformations, fluid electric, sound playback, rendering lights, projectiles, submersion checks, wind velocity. Now this part is interesting, and I actually saw this as I was going through the GeoMeta website. It says that the mods are powerful, but they have a 2 megabyte size limit, and they will impact and slow down the game. So it says, yes, vehicles with mods will use more storage and bandwidth, so don't overdo it. So you're limited to a 2 megabyte size, but expect that the more mods you're running, and especially in your creations, it will slow things down. So bottom line, you can build fully custom components, their own looks, sounds, behaviors, share them seamlessly, and that is a huge upgrade for builders and coders. I went directly to the workshop and went to show the most recent of all of the mods, and here we have some interesting things. Now, you can see right away that I've already subscribed to some of them. This one is by user Kezra, and you can see it gives you a dark mode workbench. Now it's quite funny for me, it actually looks like something that I do for work in like AutoCAD or that type of environment, but you could see that it does make it a little easier on the eyes. So this is a cool mod, and this came out today. So this is the first one that actually hit the workbench or workshop. This is also really cool. This is what I was doing in the game here in the beginning, and you could see here the boat where it is sitting, and then with the mod how much higher it sits. So you could see here that Rhino Prime made this mod today, and it says that it makes tiny boats and lifeboats work well. Larger ships now carry heavier cargo without sinking, but you still may tip over. So that is quite neat, and actually really cool that this sort of thing came out, because this is something that people have been talking about for a while now, the water and the buoyancy in the game. Then there are other things, improved space travel. This one is by user Fish Fing, and you could see here that it actually adds a new engine, liquid uranium thermonuclear engine, LARS. Really cool. So you get a mod that actually gives you something brand new altogether. And then we have this tweaked aerodynamics by user Helveti, and you could see that it's intended to change the way that aerodynamics work in the game. So those are just the first few that came out, but I'm already really loving this advanced buoyancy. Now maybe there will be others, and maybe this will be updated. I've not played around with it too much, but you could see how the boat sits, and the rest of the game here still looks the same. Now I don't necessarily think I'll be using this in my creations, specifically because I still want my creations to be compatible with the vanilla game. But if I ever go and play, for example, I might end up using this. But take a look at this. Takes a little second, and here we are. So like I said, this really does look like CAD for me. Really cool. And it just gives you kind of the ability to play without straining your eyes. And what I've done is went ahead actually and added some of the mods here. So you can see I do love the Apollo's light pack, like I talked about, and Thale's aviation parts. So previously, when you had one of these modded parts, you were not able to upload your creation. It just didn't let you. Now, if I actually come here, let's see if it lets me. This is my first time testing it. See? So it still says cannot upload modded vehicles. All right. So I'm trying it so you don't have to. But why that happened, I'm not quite sure. I do have the latest version of the game. Now, Apollo's light pack were not updated recently. What about Thales, which were? But to be honest, they weren't really updated in the last little while. And you see here, we still don't have mods. But if I go see, try, still doesn't let me. So maybe that will come with time. So we are not going to see modded creations hit the workshop just yet, but obviously they're doing something. It may be just because it is not, they've not come out since the update. So maybe the coding and programming of these various mods have to be done a little differently in order for us to actually get them and implement them, upload them in our creations. Now here in my boat with the better water buoyancy, you could see not only does it float better, but it will actually have a higher top speed, I presume, because it just floats and sits a little higher on the water surface. We're going 40 knots here, and it's kind of climbing a little bit, jumping around obviously, but it is seeming to work quite nicely. Of course, you still can hydroplane and kind of take off, but this seems to be quite nice. Actually, this one is one I'm quite curious because I've still kind of been experimenting with making it work. So let's see how this actually behaves. It seems like it's a little more bouncy or kind of floating a little higher. But even with this mod, it seems to still work quite nicely actually. Now, like I said, granted, I'm using a lot of anti-gravity kind of blocks in here, so it still is quite light and very susceptible to flipping. So I did just start this new game without the better buoyancy. Let's see how this compares directly. So we had speeds of around 42 or so. Does seem to be kind of reaching the same thing, which also could mean that my boat is just quite nicely optimized, which I'll gladly take. But it is interesting to know that others, oh, there you go. So that is one of the things that didn't happen in the other one. But anyway, obviously it takes a bit more playing and testing and seeing how it works, but it does change the way small vehicles work. And like I said, there's probably going to be others, and then we can pick and choose which ones our favorites are. So I'm quite keen on something like that, especially when you have these smaller creations and kind of want them to still function properly. Now you can see here in this workbench, it's back to the blue. I'm used to the blue. I kind of like the blue, but it is neat to see the comparison of the black one. It did cause a little bit of lag as I was entering the workbench though. So for now, I'm going to wait out and see kind of what happens as the game progresses with these mods. But one thing is for sure, I really would love for there to be kind of a folder system, or like even a toggleable checkbox where you can have a fifth option here. And then you can say, okay, I want to show Thales, I want to show Apollo, and then maybe I don't want to show them, because right now they're all kind of just stacked in order, which is fine, but it will make it a little easier to have them on or off, and a little bit more kind of built in with folders. But it is what it is. I mean, maybe that's just me, because I also would love to see folders for our vehicles here rather than having to rely on my label, but that's okay. Little things like that don't make or break the thing. This is a huge step in a amazing direction, and we are gonna see, I think, a new side of Stormworks with this change, and we'll expect a lot of animation, sound effects, all kinds of stuff. I've seen already mods for engine sounds, so that's going to be really cool. And then even uploading vehicles and creations with those changes will be kind of cool. So we'll stay tuned and see where this change and update brings us. But that was just kind of a basic overview of some of the things that I saw. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more creations. I do want to thank all of my supporters. I've actually gained a couple in the last few days. Thank you so much. The Captain's Club is growing, or Captain Circle, as well as my Discord server boosters. So all of these awesome people get perks, and I thank them so much for sort of being there supporting me, and they get to enjoy early released creations. As for the rest of you, I do still thank each and every one of you, because without you, this wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be doing any of this. So I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And let me know in the comments what kind of mods you guys are excited for, because as we kind of change the way the game works and adapt new possibilities and new elements, there are going to be fundamental differences. But if that's what the fan base wants, and I'm talking to you guys, then that is what we should get. So let me know what type of things you guys are excited for, and until next time, happy Stormworksing, everyone.